everyone, this is Lori from the Crafting Auntie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I would like to do a design team project for Polka Art Studio. So I would like to use one of their kits, which is called Timeless Botanica. And it's a beautiful kit. I have printed many of the pages, which I will show you some of these that I have, and that also I have printed and put in this signature. And then when we're done, I'll give you a final flip through and you can see everything that's in this kit. So I want to make a tall, skinny journal with this. These pages are all vertical, and let me just show you. I have my signature put together, but let me just open it up and show you these beautiful digitals. Now I have printed these double-sided. So I have these gorgeous, gorgeous pages, and I have just folded them right down the center. So this is the 11 side, 8.5 by 11, so 11 side folding in half instead of the other way where you're folding it this way. So let me just continue showing you these pages. Beautiful, beautiful prints. And I thought, oh my gosh, this would be so much fun to do a tall, skinny journal with. Aren't these beautiful? The colors are just gorgeous. So I've put my signature together just to save some time, but I at least want to show you a lot of these. And I will link in the description box this kit. And you can do so many things with this kit. You don't have to do a tall, skinny journal, but I enjoy making those, so I decided I would do one. So these are all full-size pages, front and back, and I believe there's two PDF files that come with this, and there's 20 pages if I'm accurate in that on each of the PDF files. So these are the large ones that I've done. You get quite a bit. So this is what I'm going to be having in my signature. So I'll set those aside. These I printed small. I was going to fold them in half and put them in, but I ended up printing them the wrong way, so I'm going to use these for other items to go into the journal, but I'll show you these as well. So this is the other kit, and I printed these 2 to a page, so these are much smaller. So they're more like probably like a 5 by 7. So you can see I had them I put it in the printer the wrong way, but I don't want to waste these, so I'll choose what side I want to use. Create some pockets with these, or create some ephemera pieces, some tags, back them. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to use these. And I'm not sure how long this video will go, if it will be two episodes, 2 parts, or not. I am not sure. Okay, so that is what the kit looks like. Now, I also have one of these. Oh, here's the other one. I set this one aside because I think it would be gorgeous on the front, but I do want to use fabric, and I want to use Amazon packaging. So this is just an Amazon packaging envelope, and the only thing I've done is separate the two. So usually it's an envelope, so you can stick something in it, and so I have just removed the other half of this to make it a little bit thinner. And then I've chosen this fabric for the outside, and I think it goes really well with this. And then I have chosen this fabric for the inside. And I thought it went really well with my signature, the way I'd put it together. I have these colors. So I thought that would look really good there. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get my piece cut and get my fabric cut, and then we'll come back and we'll begin the process. I thought I'd better show you how I'm going to cut my packaging for this journal. So here is my signature that I'm going to be using, And so I've got all the pages intact. It's just going to be a one signature. So I'm going to lay it here, and I'm going to fold this over because I want this to barely go over my widest piece. So I'm going to just fold this in half where it just is meeting, and then I'm going to mark it so that I can trim that down. So that's how I'm doing the actual packaging. So I'm going to mark it here, here, and here. And then I'm just going to use my paper trimmer. You can use a knife and a ruler. I think this will fit in here. And then I'm just going to line it up. This way I know I'm going to get at least a straight cut. So just going to cut this. Save the excess if you want to use it for something else. So now we have our two sides. This side I'm just going to clean it up a bit. So I'm just going to take just a little bit off. Not a lot. Just to clean up that edge. Okay, now we've got some nice clean edges. And then for the height, I want to cut off, looks like probably it's going to be about an inch. So I'm going to just cut it off right here. And that's basically all I do to get my packaging prepared. Now, you don't have to use fabric. You can use paper. You can paint this. I've done them several different ways. I do want to use the fabric because I want it to extend over just a little bit, and it's going to hide all this when this gets glued down and we get both fabric on the inside and on the outside. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece, and let me just show you the first one. I'm going to take my fabric. Let's take this piece, and I'm going to lay this out and then determine the size that I need to cover my journal. And this really isn't I don't think it's really directional, but I think I'm going to go this way. So I'm just going to lay this on here, and I want just a little bit of an overlap. Let me move this up. So there's going to have a little bit of an overlap here. So let me just come down here. I want a little bit of an overlap there. So I'm going to tear off some of this so that I don't have the writing and the border here. So we'll tear that. Okay. Now, set my piece here, and I'll fray those edges. I want to make sure I have just a little bit hanging over on all the sides. So up here, I'm going to do a little cut there, and then straighten this back out, get this back in place, and really do the best you can. And if you don't want to do the fabric, by all means, paint it. Or if you do want to do the fabric and you're afraid it's going to show through, paint the packaging as well. I'm going to take a look and see how this looks when I put this on here. So this is going to be for the outside cover, and actually I think that's fine. So when it is folded like this, then we have our, or actually I think I folded it this way. Where's my fold? It doesn't matter. At any rate, this will be the outside. So I have enough on all the edges. And so I'm going to do the same thing with the other fabric, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I have both of my fabric pieces cut, and then I have done some fraying on them so the edges are not straight, and they fit perfectly on my packaging. So I'm going to use some PVA glue, and I'm going to water it down a little bit. I'm going to use a brush, and I'm going to spread the glue onto this, a thin layer, and then secure the fabric. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I have my water and my glue. And you want to make sure if you're doing this to keep water by, because when you're done with your brush, put it right into the water. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of water to this. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just want to water it down a little bit. And then stir it up. And then I'm just going to fold this in half. I'm going to start on this side, and this is the inside. And just brush a thin layer on. And this dries rather quickly, so you kind of want to move quickly and get it all the way to the edges. Now I've got a piece of parchment paper underneath my packaging paper, so that way I have something protecting my table, and also with the parchment paper this doesn't stick on there too badly. You just want to make sure that you're not getting any glue on the fabric after you get this put on. So when I go to do the front, I'll be making sure I have a clean, dry piece as well. Okay, so let's fold this back over. Make sure, and then I'm going to just run my hands across it, making sure that I've got it exactly where I want it. All the edges are covered. This is the best way I've found to do this, and the easiest. So just keep pressing it down, and then flip this side over and do the same thing. And watering down the glue helps it to spread better. So if you don't water it down, it is a lot harder to spread it around. You end up using a whole lot more. And then sometimes you end up with some glue spots on your fabric. Fabri-Tac is not as spreadable, so I don't use it for this. I have tried it and I have not been happy with results. Okay. Now we can always trim the edges if we find it's a little bit too long on one side, but just spread it out and so it looks completely covered. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to grab another sheet of this. Put that on top, and then we're going to go ahead and do the other side. And then that way this can be drying. So we have a little bit of excess here. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not completely perfect and straight, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. It's a junk journal. And when we get this piece on, you're not going to see it anyway. I always just say, do the best you can. These are junk journals. They're fun. They're projects. And just do the best you can. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the front. You see, I'm really not using a whole lot of glue on this. I've learned with the various times that I've done this how to spread it so that I don't get any spots showing through. And if you do, there's always a way to cover it up. You can always add lace or your picture you're going to put on the front, or yeah, just about anything if you need to cover up something. You can always do that. Okay. So put this over. Do exactly the same thing. And I'm just pressing it out from the center to the edge. little bit more over. Now, this is open on one side because of where I trimmed it off. So you may say, oh, it's opening there various places, but my plan is to be stitching around this whole thing. So it's not going to be open for long. And it's got like a foam bubbles or some kind of thing in this packaging. It's got some foam in there in various places. And so yeah, I don't worry about that. I just am going to stitch over it. Oops. To add, to get that closed. So yeah, you could do that. And if you're not going to sew, then by all means add the glue any places that may be open, because when you cut this packaging you will have some opening areas. So just glue them shut if you don't want to sew. Okay, I'm going to put that in my water, set that aside, and let's bring the top over. And then this can be set aside to dry. You don't want to stitch on this until this is completely dry. If not, you will mess up your needle if you're going to do any sewing. And I like this peeking out. I'm just going to trim this off right there. I like all the frayed edges. So when this is folded like this, you get a really fun looking tall journal. Super easy to do, especially if you have Amazon packaging. It's just enough. It's just the thickness enough to create a nice cover. Okay, I'm just going to make sure this is all pressed down good. And then I'm going to let it dry. And then later on I will stitch it. So I do want to do some inking. I do want to get this kind of put in place how I want this to be. So the coffee dye paper, I don't need to ink. I do want to ink all the edges of my pieces here that I have printed. So let me just lay this flat, and I'm going to use Vintage Photo on this. And then I'm just going to ink around all the edges. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. But when you cut off the edges, trimming it up, there's a little tiny white border around all of the prints that I print out. And so I like to cover that up. So I'm going to just do that on all of these printables. And I'm going to do both sides. So I'll do this one with you, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera. It's basically what I like to do on all my projects. So you're just going to be doing the same thing. And again, if you don't want to ink your project, you don't have to. But if you are going to ink, do both sides. Now with these, I tore with this ruler. This is Tim Holtz ruler. It's got a nice edge here on this side. So all the white that was around the edge on this, I did tear with that ruler just to give it a rough edge rather than using the paper trimmer. But by all means, do it however you would like. You can also use a decal edge ruler, which will give you even more of a beautiful kind of a torn edge. So if you've got that, you could do that. And if you don't have any of those, just use your scissors and take your time and just do all of those however you want to. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish all the inking. Okay, I have gotten all of the digitals inked. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the signature back together, but I'll be doing it. It's already folded in the way I want them to be, hopefully, unless I change my mind. But I'm going to go ahead and actually crease all of these, because I have not done that, and put this signature back together with you. So again, you can take a look and see all these beautiful papers. I will be linking this kit and the Etsy shop along with their YouTube below in the description box. So I'm just going to go through, use my bone folder, crease all my papers, and put my signature back in place. Now the tea dye paper is going to be just a little bit taller, and so it's going to stick out a little bit at the top and a little at the bottom, and I like that. I don't like all my pages to be exactly the same size, and in any journal they don't have to be. So you can have smaller pages, you can have taller pages. When you're creating your cover, just adjust for that. So make sure that you have your signature, what you want it to be, in place, so that when you go to do your cover, then you will have everything matching up perfectly. So now you can see how much nicer this is going together once they are creased with the bone folder. So just continue doing that. I've added some vintage music, and then I've added these bags. I got these, I think, off of Amazon, and they're just like newsprint kind of paper bags. And I thought it'd be fun to add some of these in here. And you can use these as a tuck spot here, and you can open up the bottom, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use my scissors. Let me see. Yeah. Use my scissors and just trim off a little bit off the bottom. You can do this after you get it together, but it is a lot easier to do it now. And then that opens this end. So now you've got pockets on both sides. So when you put this in the center and you bound it, then you'll have a pocket here and a pocket here. And so I've also adjusted widthwise to make sure that these are into the actual cover, so that they may peek out just a tiny bit, but not much. So we'll just continue doing this until I have it all together. I think I'm going to stagger these bags just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more character. There we go. Now I'll continue folding and creasing. I've had this braille paper in my stash and I've not used it yet. So I thought this would be perfect to add some of this in here. Then we'll count and see how many pages we have all together. Okay, so there's our signature. We'll just take another look at it. So when it comes in, we'll have all this. Such beautiful images on this paper. Got some music. Trying to adjust these a little bit as we go along to get them in the right spot. There we go. This, we have a bag. You can add doilies in this too if you wanted to. I think I might be doing a doily on the outside though. It'll be a fabric one, I think. Crocheted one. Another bag. Really works well for a tall, skinny journal with this kit. If you find any other kits on their site that are portrait like this, then you should be able to do the same thing with them. Forgot to count. I know that there's 10 of these. There's 2 music, so that's 12. 2 bags, that's 14. And then there are 3 coffee dye papers. I believe we have 17 pages. And if you don't have to decorate in this, you could use this just as writing space on areas that are blank, like on these sheets. I'm not a journaler. I just love making them. So I would definitely decorate this. Okay, so that is our signature. So now let's check our cover. Feels like our cover is dry. Putting on a thin layer of glue really helps. So let's just take a look and see how we're looking. So tall and skinny. So when this is in here, you still have plenty of room to add all kinds of goodies. This, I think, is really pretty. I think it'll go well here, but I think it's a little too large. And I think I want to do a doily. So I think what I'm going to do is tear around this. Now I've printed this, all of these, on 32-pound copy paper. I just like to have a little heavier copy paper, especially for pages, but I typically will use that for most everything that I print that's going to be on copy paper. Very seldom do I use a thinner copy paper. And then I use anywhere between 65 and 110 pound cardstock. It just depends on what you like. Some things I like to use the 65 pound, and then it depends on your printer too. Okay, with that being torn around, I like that better. Now we need to ink it up. So let's do that. And you saw I tore away from me, and that way I don't have a white edge here. If you tear the other way, you will have a white edge. But if you like that, that's fine too, because you can ink that up and it'll just even look more vintage, and it should pop out even more on your piece. So either way you want to do it. I think inking this up, making a world of difference. Yeah. So now I think I want to do a doily. So let me search through my goodies and see what I can come up with. Okay, this is my doily box. I have all kinds of doilies in here that have been purchased on various groups on Facebook and also given to me from my sister. So I have kind of poked through here and I found this one. I think this is really pretty. I think it's height-wise, I think it's perfect. So let's take a look here. So if I were to wrap this around like that, and then if we added this to the front, that gives us a lot more character going on. But I think I want something popping out of the top as well. But let me see if there's anything else in here. Okay, so we've got this one. Let's try that. Make a decision here. So this one, we could do it this way and wrap it around, and then we can add this here and still have some things popping out. Decisions, decisions. I think I'm going to go with this one. I think that way I have a little bit more showing here rather than using this one, although this one is really pretty too. One more time. Let's take one more look. I think I like the way this one goes all the way to the top. I think that's what's, yep. I'm going to go with this one. Okay. Okay, what I want to do next is I want to stitch around this. I want to stitch around my cover. So let's take our signature back out. So I want to stitch all the way around this, and also I want to add this, and I think this I will glue on after I have done the stitching. Then I also want to think about a closure. So I think I have this. I think it goes pretty well. And I'm thinking of just adding 2 eyelets here. But I'm also thinking of putting it underneath here. Let's see what that looks like before I decide on that. I don't know if I'm going to like that peeking through or not. Let's see. Just thought I'd take you along with my decision process here. Since this is a design team project, I want to make sure I can show you all the things that you can do with this. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. I just glue it down underneath here and leave these loose. I can feed them through an eyelet, and yeah, okay, I might do that. Okay, I'm going to go do some stitching. Okay, stitching is done. So I've double stitched around this twice, just a straight stitch on this. Maybe see it better on the back. And then I have zigzagged around this twice. Let me show you on this side so you can see a little better. So I've gone around it twice. So everything is nice and secure and flat, ready to go. So I think what I want to do next is to stitch in my signature. And the reason why I want to do that is then I can put this doily on over it, just so that it looks really pretty on this edge here. So I'm going to grab some stuff and we're going to stitch this in together. Okay, here's my binding kit. So I'm going to grab this. I think this will be great on this. I don't have a green and a waxed thread, and I want to use a waxed thread. And I have my needles. So let me grab one of those. And also my awl. So what I'm going to do now is I want to have 3 lengths, the size of my journal. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to cut that. I actually just use these large paper clips because they work great, especially for a tall journal. Just going to make sure everything is in line where I want it. That everything is even, and also that everything is right side up. That's really important. I have had that happen to me before where I have sewn it in and I had a page or 2 that were not right side up. So it's always a good practice. Take time and go through and make sure you have it exactly where you want it. Okay, so I'm going to use my awl and I'm going to go right through the center. And I'm just eyeballing this. So I'm just kind of looking where my center is. And I'm going to fold this down and push all the way through. I'm going to push it quite a bit so that I can see the hole on the other side. And then I'm going to come about 1 inch down. And I'm going to do one here. Same thing. And 1 inch from the bottom. And I'm going to do one here. You can measure, you can make a template. By all means, do what you like, what is comfortable for you. Okay, now I have my needle. So I'm going to come straight through the hole that we just made, just like this. And pull that, leaving a tail. And I like to just tuck this underneath so it doesn't get inside in now. So you went from the inside out, now the outside in. And then pull. And then you want to come down all the way to the bottom through this hole and pull that through, and then back through the center hole. Just make sure you don't split the threads, and you want to come out the opposite side of the thread that's in the center. There we go. Okay, so I'm making sure that I'm not splitting that other thread, and then pull it up and then make sure it's on the other side of that thread. So we went down, up, down, and then up back through center. So here's what it looks like on the outside. So now what you want to do is really pull this tight. And the reason why I like to use wax thread is that it pulls really tight. So I always check it out here, and then I also check it here. So I'm going to just pull this really tight. Again, tie a knot. And then I'm going to go underneath again and underneath here, and then I'm going to tie another knot. And that gives it really secure, just like that. Now if you're using embroidery floss or something like that, you could leave these, and if you wanted to add some dangles, you could leave these. I'm going to trim them off and take off the rest of the clips. And now we have our journal sewn in, nice and tight. So I like to take my bone folder and just run across it, both the front and the back. Just like that. So now our signature is in place. Okay, we're going to finish the cover, and then I think I'll probably do another video another time, and we can do some decorating on the inside. So let's go ahead and finish the cover. So I have my piece of curly ribbon, so I want to make sure I have enough on both sides. So I'm just going to cut about like here. Make sure that we are right side up. Everything is good. I'm going to glue this down. Put this in half. So this is my back. I glue this down right about here in the center. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac for this. I think that would work perfect. So I'm going to add some here on the spine and come out about 2/3 of the way. And then press this down. Just about like that. I think I will add one of these clips on that. Just hold it and then turn it over and do the same thing on this side. Come down here and about 2/3 across, and then pull this flat so it's nice and taut, like that. Okay, now we can add our doily. So I think I'm going to line it up here on the spine and top and bottom. Boy, this doily couldn't have been any perfect in size. It's actually perfect. Okay, let's see. Let's add some glue to the spine first. And then try and get this lined up again. Like so. And then let's do this side as well. And if for some reason you didn't stitch in your signatures very cleanly, this is a nice cover-up as well. Mine looked fine, but I wanted to add this doily on here. They don't always look fine. But again, that's all part of junk journaling, right? Let's see, am I right side up? Yes, I am. Okay. So now let's add glue. I'm going to add all glue to the edge here. And then as many places in here as I can because I want it to make sure it's good and secure. And if there's any glue sticking out, use a towel. I'm going to do the whole thing. And again, usually what I say is just do the best you can. Okay, turn it over. I'm going to turn it around to make it easier for me and add the glue here. Just like that. All around the edge, and then as much as you can in here to give it good secure. And you'll probably get glue on your hands like I have on mine right now. There's some days where I am peeling the glue off for a while. Like that. Clean up that glue. Okay, I want to make sure. Is this right side up? Yes, it is. All right, I have these eyelets. They're flowers. I think it would go perfect with this. So let me grab my crocodile. I'm going to use the large setting for this. And since we have our ribbons all lined up here, gives us a good spot to where we can punch. So I'm trying not to punch onto the stitching that I've done. I don't want to mess up the stitching there where it might come loose. So this one, get that inside, and then let's secure that. These are a little tougher to cinch down, but that looks pretty. And then what I want to do is just pull this through, like so. And then we can have a nice tie. So on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. Pull that through. Okay, now we can tie a bow. This actually goes pretty well with this. Simple closure. Doily is looking beautiful on there. So now I want to glue this on. And I'm just going to glue 3 sides. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac since I'm going on to fabric. And I want to make sure I'm down low enough from this. And then I'll add some tags and stuff like that on there. I think I want to add these corners. I think these are so pretty. And they just go on with glue. And I really think it needs it. So if I add corners here, on all 4 corners, 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. Okay, you know, I just can't go without finishing this part of the cover. So I'm going to grab some cardstock and we're going to make a couple of tags that we can pop in there real quick. Okay, I want to make a couple of tags. I've taken some of this smaller paper, found a couple that I really like, and I cut them at 2.5 inches. So I'm going to back them with this craft color cardstock. Do that first. Actually, I think I'm going to use the punch first because it might not work when the glue's on there. So let's do that. So let me just feed these in. Now these are 2.5 inches wide. Make them as long as you want. I want these to be taller, so I've just cut them. Make sure that's lined up. I've just cut them longer. 7. So I've just cut the parts that I like on them. And then I've cut these cardstock the same size. Go ahead and glue these together using art glitter glue. Okay. So now you can see also what you can create with this kit. Okay. And let's do this one. And I used the craft cardstock. You can use any color of cardstock. You could use a colored that went with this. I just decided to use the craft color. They're just mostly going to be sticking in this pocket as decoration for the front. All right, so let me just trim these. I want them this length. There's one and the other. So to show you where my thought process is going on this. So I want these to peek out like this. I think that would make a really fun cover. So let's just ink around them. And we'll add the eyelet and the topper. You can also stitch around these. For time constraints, I won't do it today. But you can stitch around these. And let's just use the same ribbon. Okay, so let's just cut a piece and we'll cut it in half. And then let me grab some other eyelets. I don't want to use those big flower ones. Let's use gold. Why not? Okay. Let's get this on here. And this one. Perfect. And I'm just going to tie them like this. And I'm going to tie it in a knot just so it doesn't come apart. So there's one. I'll tuck that one into our pocket. And let's do this one. And then we'll look at our final project of what we've created today. And again, this is a design team project for Polka Art Studios using their kit, Timeless Botanica. And here we have it. So we have our two tags here, and I may stitch around these still. We have our front and our back. We have a beautiful doily. We have some curly ribbon underneath. We have stitching all the way around the journal. We also have stitching around this. Untie it here. And here is our signature. I've already gone through it all, so I won't go through it again with you. I just want you to see what it looks like finished. And I hope you guys will give this a try. So this is a fun project to do using Timeless Botanica. I will link this kit below. And I may come back and put in a plate up here that says journal or something. We'll see. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give a shot doing this. Check out this kit or any other kits on Polka Art Studio. Again, I will link this kit below. I will also link their shop, and I will also link their YouTube channel. So you guys have a great day. We'll see you next video, and God bless you all. Bye.